Bonjour! Welcome to another episode of Cuisine Michelle. I am Michelle. So tonight I'm going to be making a recipe that I have made before and I know it's really good. This is creamy mushroom and bacon pasta. So you could probably use various cuts of pasta. I'm going to be using Mezze Rigatoni. So over on my regular stove I have some Mezze Rigatoni. It's 8 ounces dried that I'm going to be cooking to package directions. Then while that's going on, over here in my skillet, I'm going to be starting with the bacon part. I've got 6 slices of thick cut bacon that I've cut up into basically like little strips about that big or so. So we're going to just get this to be barely crisped up, and then we will be draining it on a paper towel once it is done. Right, so you can see that I have cooked the bacon over here. Got it draining, and in between scenes I cooked the rest of the bacon, so that's why there's quite a bit of fond in my pan. But that's okay, it'll just add to the flavor that we have going on here. I did leave a little bit, probably about, I'd say a tablespoon, maybe 2 of the drippings in the skillet, so depending on your bacon, that's maybe about how much you should have left. So now what we're going to do is we've got 8 ounces of button mushrooms that we have sliced up. We're going to cook those in our drippings right here. Get those coated up in here. Once you've got them absorbed with the drippings there, we're going to want to deglaze our pan. And to do that, I'm going to use maybe about 1/3 of a cup of Barefoot Chardonnay here. You can use any dry white wine you want. So we're going to do that so we can scrape up all those wonderful browned bits in the fond, the pan. Oh yeah, look at that. Coming up beautifully there. Yes, perfect. This is about medium heat, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Oh, and another thing that I need to mention is that once your pasta is done cooking, make sure that you reserve some of the pasta cooking water from when you've got that pasta draining, because we're going to use that later on in the recipe. All right, so I've been cooking these for maybe about 2 minutes or so. Now I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of bottled minced garlic into my pan. If you want to use fresh garlic, of course, feel free. That would be about 6 cloves or so, 5-6 cloves. And then we're going to cook this up until that liquid has almost evaporated. So it'll take just a couple more minutes for that to happen. So you can see that my liquid is really close to disappearing. It doesn't have to all be gone. And now what I'm going to do is sprinkle over 2 tablespoons of flour. And then stir my mushrooms to coat that up. And immediately after I get them all coated with the flour, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of chicken broth. This is the lower sodium kind, but you could use regular, just you won't want to add too much salt to it. If that's the case, of course. Alright, now that we've got our chicken broth in there, we can add our following ingredients. The next thing we're going to add in is 1 1/4 cups of heavy cream. 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and then some salt and pepper to your taste. So since I used my lower sodium, I'm going to be moderate with my salt. Again, this is just how much ever you think would please you and your family. Or just you, if you're making this for just you. And you don't have to worry about anybody else's taste, right? So now what we're going to do is bring this sauce that we have here in the pan to a boil. And then we're going to let that, once you get it to boil, bring it back down on the heat so that it stays at a simmer, and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, so I've been doing this. You can see, hopefully, that this has thickened just a bit here. And now that I've got that thickened up like that, I'm going to be adding in 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan Reggiano. Don't use the stuff that you get in like shelf stable. That will cause your sauce to cake up, and you don't want to do that to this sauce. So it definitely has to be freshly grated. This. And then once you get it like that, you can adjust the thickness of your sauce by adding a little bit of that pasta water. So depending on how thick you prefer your sauce to be. I want ours to be fairly thick, but not so thick that it's like soup or something. It's getting pretty good there. And then our last step is going to be to return that bacon back to the pan. At least sauce-wise, that's our last step. Getting that all stirred in. Oh my goodness, it just smells so good. And finally, our last step is going to be that we are going to put in our cooked pasta. It has been waiting oh so patiently for us. At this point, you can turn off your heat. You don't need it anymore. And oh, look at how luscious that is. So we stir it in to coat it all over. Oh, I can hardly wait to have some. I know how good this is. All right, I've got it coated up. I'm going to get that on final plating, and we will see you in just a moment. Okay, so here we are at final plating, and it just looks fabulous. And of course, I had to put some extra Parmesan on top because it's definitely not decadent enough already. So now the moment we've all been waiting for, taste test. Excellent. Just as excellent as I remember it. So wonderful. Excuse me. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Cuisine Michel. Please, please, please be sure to share this video with your friends and tell them about this channel. And most of all, I really love it if you'd subscribe. Please, please help out with that as well. Give this a like if you liked it, and make a comment. What do you like with your pasta? What kind of sauces are you into? And we will see you next time. Au revoir.